Alright, welcome to my video number 3 update. So what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks is, went ahead and set up a configuration file that we can use to access the settings for the app. This is in here, it's called app settings.json. So that's what contains a database connection string, which is here. So I'm running a SQL Server instance on my lab. It's using a virtual machine. So here's the database itself, and here's a couple of the tables for it. So went ahead and did that, set up the application configuration stuff, and let's see. So right now I've collected about 16,000 rows of the firewall data. So it's been collecting the data for the past couple weeks already. So I set up the databases, which is basically a lot of the work that I did this week, and set up the tables for it. So I also set up geolocation. So what I did at first was I tried to set up a geolocation using a web API. There's like a bunch of free ones out there, but the rate limits were really a problem with it. So I found that with the volumes of data that were coming in, that I didn't really want to rely on a web API. So I found an offline database that I could download that it's like about 1.5 gigabytes, and it has about 3.5 million rows of geolocation information, which is here. So yeah, you can see there's 3.3 million rows actually. So this shows the IP address ranges as represented as integers, and the country codes, city, region, latitude, longitude, all that kind of stuff. So I changed my app to use the geolocation database, and it uses a cache inside of the app, because without the cache, even with the rows being indexed, it's still the lookup has a slight delay. So I'm looking into ways to kind of modify that and change that, but the cache itself kind of just really speeds things up the way I want it anyway. So I'm fine with that. So with the cache, it's an acceptable solution. I can at least work on other parts of the apps. So there were some concurrency issues also with all the firewall data coming in. It was logging the firewall data into the database, and it was coming in too quickly. So it was overwhelming the database. So what I ended up doing was I just keep everything in the app it just keeps collecting it, and then every 1 minute it does a big database commit with everything that it's caught. So that seems to work fine. That resolves the concurrency issue to my satisfaction. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing more work on the user interface. So the user interface is still the same as what it was. This work has all been back-end stuff with the database and the geolocation stuff. So in the status area, I'm going to put like the cache statistics, the firewall statistics, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be in there. And then inside of the syslog, it's going to have, the syslog is just this one again with the raw data. The firewall log is going to actually have a column with the IP address, source, and sortable, filterable, that kind of stuff. So, and then the status also is going to have like your dashboard and things like that, like your graphs and all that fancy stuff. And the settings is going to be your app settings, like the database connection string. I'm also going to add a status bar on the bottom just to give alerts or whatever that are inside of the app instead of down in the system tray. So that's my plan for the user interface, and I'm also going to be doing more research on the existing apps and kind of start my evaluation, so I can start comparing the apps side by side, and you can see how this one works compared to the other ones, in terms of like time of setup, complexity of infrastructure, existing things you need, so forth. Just set up some tables for that stuff. Then I'm going to set up the types of alerts, just set up like maybe 5 or 6 of those that are just like canned alerts, like a packet storm or port scan, things like that. And then if I get some time, I think I should be able to get some time to do this. I'm going to start just writing my unit tests for the app just to make sure things are working the way they should. So that's basically it. Just I'm curious if you guys have any feedback or anything of like what else I could add in here, just maybe some more features. Just let me know, and we'll go from there. All right, thank you.